Okay, let's dive right in. We all know that legal challenges can be tough, but when those challenges involve your family, well, let's be honest, it's one of the most difficult and stressful experiences you can go through. It's deeply personal, it's incredibly emotional, and the stakes just couldn't be any higher. And that right there, that really hits home, doesn't it? When you're in the middle of it all, it is so easy to feel completely swamped and just lost. But the most important thing to remember is that you really don't have to go through this maze by yourself. So that brings up a really big question, right? If you need a guide to help you through this complicated territory, what should you actually be looking for? Let's kind of break it down. We're going to use one law firm's approach as a model here to figure out what really, truly makes a difference. Okay, so the first thing, and this is a big one, is experience. This is the absolute bedrock. In a field like family law, where every single detail matters, having a guide who's seen it all before isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely crucial. You know, sometimes a single number can say it all. 33. Think about that for a second. That represents more than 3 decades of dedicated practice, of handling thousands of unique family situations and knowing the law inside and out. And that number? That's the experience of attorney Peter Tuann. He brings all that knowledge to clients across the Bay Area, working out of offices in San Ramon and Sunnyvale. And that's the thing, this isn't just some abstract number. It's real, on-the-ground expertise that he applies right in the communities he serves. Okay, so experience is a huge piece of the puzzle, for sure. But it's really only half the story. The way an attorney works with you, well, that can be the real game changer. It all comes down to the relationship. Because what separates a good lawyer from a great one is that focus on you. You're a person, right? Not just another case file. What you're really looking for is someone you can trust, someone who educates you, where it feels less formal and more like a true partnership. And look, you don't have to just take my word for it. Listen to what an actual client had to say. What's so interesting here is he's not just talking about legal smarts. He's talking about keeping emotions in check, about trust, that feeling that someone truly has your back. That's what this personalized approach actually feels like in the real world. So, okay, you've found your guide, someone with experience who you trust. What's next? What does the actual landscape of family law even look like? Because it's not just one thing. It's this whole collection of issues that can and often do overlap. We're talking about everything from the big stuff, like divorce and how you split up property and debt, all the way to the really critical issues like child custody and support. And it's not just about splitting up. It can also be about agreements you make before getting married, or even changes you need to make years after a divorce is finalized. Seeing it laid out like this can help you figure out where your situation fits. You know, one of the best ways to deal with all the stress and anxiety is just getting answers. So let's tackle a couple of the most common questions people have when they're starting this journey. This has got to be the #1 question on everyone's mind. I mean, your whole life is about to change, so of course you're wondering, how long is this going to take? It's a totally fair and important question. So in California, there's a hard rule, a mandatory 6-month waiting period. That's the absolute fastest it can happen. But from that point on, the real timeline all comes down to how well you and your spouse can work together. If you agree on everything, it can be done pretty close to that 6-month mark. But if you can't agree on things, yeah, it can easily stretch out to a year or even longer. Okay, next big question, and this one is huge for parents because life happens, right? Things change. What seemed fair and manageable last year might not work at all today. So, are those court orders permanent? Are they set in stone? And the short answer is no, definitely not. There's a legal process for this, and it's called a modification. Basically, if there's been a major significant change, someone loses a job or the custody arrangement shifts, you can go back to court and ask for an adjustment. But, and this is super important, it doesn't just happen on its own. You have to be proactive and file a motion with the court to get the ball rolling. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, it becomes pretty clear. On one hand, you've got the challenge itself, which we know is complicated, it's emotional, it's just a lot. And on the other hand, you have the solution. And it's not just about hiring a lawyer. It's about finding a true advocate, Someone with deep experience who's also going to be your partner through it all, protecting your rights and helping you find the absolute best way forward. And I guess that leaves us with one final, really important thought to chew on. As you look toward your future, maybe the most important question to ask isn't about all the legal jargon or court procedures. Maybe it's about your guide. Is this person just a service provider? Or are they a real partner in what's going to be one of the most significant journeys of your life? Honestly, thinking about that could change everything.